I only remembered one thing after the accident. I'd somehow been reincarnated into a novel. The moment I learned I was the fake son swapped at birth into a wealthy family, I knew I had to bail. Fast. I'd read enough romance novels to know that situation always spelled trouble. A biased sister, a soft-hearted mom, a lovelorn childhood friend. A broken me. No thanks. I was out. But that very night, Chloe, who was usually so cool and distant, wrapped her arms around my hands and whispered in my ear. Now no one can say anything about us, can they? And then there was Maya, my little terror of a sister, clinging to me relentlessly. Hey, loser, we're getting our marriage license tomorrow. Okay? Hee hee. The next day, my arch-rival from school, Ashley Peterson, cornered me in the gym. She threw her arms around me, her embrace blazing. Now we can finally be together, out in the open. Oh wait, this isn't how the script goes. You're moving down to the first floor tonight. A cool, clear voice cut through the air. I looked up to see a face utterly devoid of emotion. It was stunning, yes, but cold as ice. Right now, it was staring at me blankly. From the original owner's memories, this was Chloe Miller, my older adopted sister. My name was Ethan Miller, and just recently, my parents had dropped a bombshell. There'd been a mix-up at the hospital. I wasn't their biological son. Even though I wasn't their real child, they'd raised me for over 20 years and grown to love me. They didn't want me to leave. The two families involved had talked it over and decided the other child, the biological Miller, would move in with us for a while. I looked at Chloe and asked, "Why do I have to move?" Chloe subtly frowned. Then her expression became a little distant as she spoke, her voice still chilly. The other person just got back. Their room isn't ready. We can't let them feel unwelcome. Besides, everything's new for them. We need to be extra considerate and make them feel at home. Oh, there it was. The classic romance novel trope. First, kick me out of my own bedroom and make me give it up. I knew the first floor was pretty much a glorified storage area. No one ever lived down there. This just confirmed my suspicions. If I stuck around, things were only going to get worse. I needed an excuse to get out of here fast. I didn't argue. Instead, I said, "Give me $50,000 and I'll move out tonight." The cool beauty in front of me visibly froze, standing there in silence. I thought I'd named too high a price and quickly stammered, $40,000 is fine. If not, 30,000 works too." Chloe smirked, a cold, mocking expression, as if my shallowness amused her. "Fine. You need to be moved out by tonight. After you're out, I'll give you 100,000. Deal. Deal." I eagerly agreed, probably looking like a whipped dog. "Thank you, sis. You're the best." I laid on the flattery thick. I had no choice. I wanted to bolt, but I was in unfamiliar territory, and I couldn't do it without some cash. I didn't notice the faint blush on Chloe's face after I turned away. The tense line of her lips softened into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. The first floor room was much cleaner than I expected. Lying on the bed, I racked my brain for a good reason to leave. Just then, my phone buzzed with a few new messages. Hey loser. Heard you moved to the first floor? I'm super generous, you know. If you beg me, I might graciously let you stay with me, T. I frowned, looking at the contact name. For a moment, I couldn't place who it was. Out of politeness, I replied, "Hello? Who is this?" The sender was clearly taken aback by my reply. After a long silence, they finally texted back, but it was just a screen full of question marks. Ugh, what? 3 days without getting roasted, and you're already trying to stir up trouble. TSK, you annoying jerk, you stinky loser. Who else but your adorable Maya would even want to text someone as gross as you, loser? Winky face, or maybe, loser, you just want your beloved Maya to insult you? You're just so weak and stupid, after all, he. Staring at the messages, I fell into deep thought. Maya's image floated into my mind. Is this what the original owner's life was like? Constantly humiliated by his bratty younger sister, and he didn't run? No, I had to run. Gotta run. I idly humored my adopted sister Maya when my phone rang again. The caller ID showed Ashley Peterson. I knew that name. She was the original owner's arch-rival, always at odds with him at school. Why was she calling now? I answered, and a clear, cheerful voice came through the phone. "Ethan, I heard you're adopted." My heart sank. That blunt jab, right off the bat, it didn't sound like anything good. "Meet me at the school gym after class tomorrow. If you don't show up, you're dead. She hung up. Memories of the original owner teasing her flooded my mind, and I shivered. Was this her coming back to settle the score? They were always fighting, but she never won. I made her cry plenty of times. Before, she might have overlooked it because of our family's friendship, but now that I was the fake son, was she really going to get her revenge? I picture myself tied up in a gym by a few burly guys, Ashley holding a small leather whip, lashing me mercilessly. My future suddenly looked bleak. Run. I had to run, and fast. Before bed, Chloe brought me a glass of milk and told me to drink it. She looked a little awkward. I'm sorry you have to be down here for a few days. Once the other room is sorted, you can move out. She watched me, as if waiting for me to speak. I watched her back, wondering what she was waiting for. I poured you some milk, she emphasized, her expression hesitant, completely unlike her usual ice queen demeanor. She looked so demure, I couldn't help but stare. She pursed her lips and repeated, I poured you milk, so what should you say? Oh, I said, quickly adding, thank you, sis. You're really great. She was waiting for me to thank her. Figures, she was always so particular. I hadn't even thought about it, and she had to remind me. Hearing my thanks, she visibly brightened with satisfaction, though she quickly suppressed the smile at the corner of her mouth. She put on her usual, don't come near me facade. Remember to drink the milk before you sleep. I nodded and downed the milk in one go. Watching me finish it, Chloe nodded contentedly, a slight smile gracing her lips. In the dead of night, I lay in bed, feeling drowsy and disoriented. My mind was racing, trying to figure out my next move. As I was thinking, I heard the doorknob turn and the door to my room creak open. I tried to open my eyes, but I couldn't. The light wasn't on, but I could feel a figure slowly approaching me. Their movements were light, as if they were afraid of waking me. The person came up to me and softly called out twice, Ethan. When I didn't respond, they seemed to relax. This should be fine, they mumbled. He shouldn't wake up. There are no cameras on the first floor. They'll never find out. It was Chloe's voice. Then I felt a soft breath against my neck, making it tingle. I wanted to scratch, but I couldn't move a muscle. I felt a warm body press against me. Chloe whispered in my ear, her voice filled with excitement and exhilaration. Hee, now we're not blood relatives, you know. It should be okay, right? I woke up the next morning feeling like I'd had a strange dream. Chloe had been in it, and I wanted to wake up, but my eyes just wouldn't open. I looked in a mirror and gasped. Why did I look so much more exhausted after sleeping? I felt completely drained. Was it really sleep paralysis? Downstairs in the dining room, Chloe and Maya were already at the table. I mumbled a greeting. Chloe averted her gaze, not looking at me. Maya puffed out her cheeks, clearly annoyed. Is the loser always this lazy? Making us wait for you to eat? You really are such a good-for-nothing. After texting with her last night, I could tell Maya didn't have bad intentions. She probably just watched too much anime. Teenagers often go through a rebellious phase. I didn't mind and simply ruffled her hair. Got it. I'll get up earlier next time. Maya's face flushed, and she started squirming. Who said you could touch my head, loser? I'll get stupid. All right, I'll be careful next time, I said, ignoring her protests. Chloe, however, had a stern expression. Maya, how are you talking to your brother? I paused, a little surprised. Chloe was actually defending me. Maya, unafraid, glared back. Mind your own business. He's my brother, and I can make him do whatever I want. With that, she grabbed my hand and insisted on sitting on my lap while eating. I could see Chloe was angry, but I didn't understand why. I quickly tried to defuse the situation. Sis, you promised me 100,000 yesterday. Don't forget, I was still counting on that money to make my escape. Hearing me, Chloe lowered her head and started eating, muttering a muffled, I know, through a mouthful of food. Maya, however, seemed to notice something. She wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered in my ear. Loser brother, are you really short on cash? I roll my eyes. Talk normally and get off me. Maya immediately pouted. No way. I'm not getting off. Her grip around my neck tightened. Okay, fine. I won't call you loser anymore. I'll just call you brother. Okay. Her face turned bright red, and she leaned in close to my ear. Let's get married tomorrow, brother. Maya has tons of money, you know. Once you marry me, it'll all be yours. I roll my eyes again. You're too young. Do you even know what marriage is? Maya proudly puffed out her chest, though there wasn't much there to puff. Of course, I'm already 18. I can totally be your bride. Sitting beside us, Chloe suddenly slapped her chopsticks on the table with a loud clack. We all instinctively looked at her. She didn't say anything, just continued eating her food at a leisurely pace. Maya tried to speak again, but Chloe slammed her chopsticks down once more, cutting her off. "Chloe, what are you doing?" Maya burst out, clearly annoyed. Chloe had already returned to her cool, aloof demeanor. "Nothing. There was a fly. I just found it too noisy." Seeing the tension escalate, I quickly ate a few more bites, then gently removed Maya from my neck and beat a hasty retreat. Whatever the reason, getting out was the right move. Looking at the $100,000 that had already landed in my account, I made up my mind. I wasn't coming back tonight. Time to get out of this mess. When I got into the car, I found someone already there. From the original owner's memories, it was Ashley Peterson. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She snorted. "Why can't I be here? From now on, I'm going to school with you every day." My university wasn't far from home, and I even had a dorm room there, but the original owner had always chosen to commute. However, starting today, I decided I'd temporarily live in the dorms. I sighed inwardly. Was her desire for revenge that strong? The moment she found out I was the fake son, she had to come and rub it in every single day. Too much trouble, too much trouble. Ashley, her hair in twin braids, looked cheerful. She pulled a box from somewhere and sat next to me. Opening it, I saw sushi. She picked up a piece and held it to my mouth, her eyes full of expectation. I awkwardly glanced at the driver, who seemed to be watching us through the rearview mirror. My arch rival, suddenly riding to school with me and feeding me? What was going on? I hoped the driver could clear up my confusion, but he remained silent. Seeing Ashley's expectant expression, I couldn't refuse. I swallowed the sushi. It wasn't bad. Ashley looked satisfied, then turned to me, searching for something. "What is it?" I asked. "Where's your engagement ring?" she asked. "Why aren't you wearing it?" Engagement? What engagement? Why was such a strange word suddenly popping up? She raised her hand and waved it. "Our engagement ring, of course. We agreed to always wear them, didn't we?" I had no memory of any such thing. Then Ashley seemed to realize something. "Is it those shameless sisters of yours who won't let you wear it? I'm going to have a talk with them today." I looked at the driver again. The driver remained silent, only coughing, as if trying to hide his embarrassment. Why did this plot feel so weird? I felt like I'd stumbled into some unknown game. After we got out of the car, Ashley leaned close and whispered, "Remember to meet me at the gym after school, okay?" I might have plans this afternoon. I tried to refuse, but I'd barely gotten the words out before Ashley's smiling face instantly darkened. "What did you say?" Several burly men in suits and ties had appeared out of nowhere. Hearing Ashley speak, they all stood up and looked at me. "Ahem, nothing. I'll definitely be there after school." I only had 2 classes that afternoon. After agonizing for a while, I eventually went to the gym. The moment I stepped inside, I was stunned. The area was decorated with celebratory streamers. A red carpet led down the middle, and crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Ashley stood in the center, wearing a pure white wedding dress. Seeing me enter, she immediately ran toward me. "Well, don't I look pretty?" Pretty. But what exactly are you planning with that outfit?" "To marry you, of course." Huh. I was completely dumbfounded. From Ashley's explanation, I pieced together the whole story. Ashley and I were the babies swapped to the hospital. Our families had always been close, and it was a coincidence that both mothers gave birth on the same day at the same hospital. Now that the truth was out, they decided to arrange a marriage between us. They'd already discussed the engagement and planned for Ashley to move in to get used to things. "Wait, aren't we supposed to be arch rivals? And you're willing to marry me?" I looked at Ashley, uncertain. When I asked, her face instantly turned red. "What are you talking about? From now on, I'm your wife. What's there to be willing about?" "But I used to tease you. Don't you hate me for it? That was your manly charm. How could you call it teasing?" I was speechless. Looks like she was completely blinded by love. This situation was all wrong. So wrong. This wasn't how the script was supposed to go. I fell back into thought. No, I couldn't be fooled by appearances. Based on my years of reading romance novels, things were never this simple. I definitely couldn't go home tonight, I thought grimly. Unfortunately, a few burly men stood beside me, escorting Ashley and me into a car. At the dinner table, Chloe, Maya, and Ashley sat around me, the atmosphere incredibly strange. Ashley made the first move, serving me some food. Then she smiled and tried to sit next to me. But as soon as she reached for the chair, Maya whisked it away. Ashley's expression didn't change. She spoke calmly. "What do you think you're doing, little sister? You've only been here for how long? And you're already calling yourself sister? I'd like to ask you what you think you're doing." Maya retorted, her tone hostile. "Ethan and I are engaged. Of course, I'm going to feed him and fulfill my duty as a wife." Ashley scoffed, seemingly looking down at the little squirt in front of her. I quickly waved my hands. Honestly, I didn't really need it. I was an adult. I could feed myself. Maya sneered. "Ethan is going to marry me. The engagement is just something the family's talked about. It's not set in stone yet. No need to be so impatient." Ashley didn't flinch. She spoke unhurriedly. "Families listen to the parents, of course. Are they going to listen to you, a child? Besides, when it comes to marriage, it's not your turn. Maya, brother Ethan is mine. You can't steal him." "Ashley, I've heard Ethan's little sister is incredibly bossy. Seeing it today, it's certainly true. My heart aches for Ethan. What kind of life did he used to live? But now he has me. You won't get to bully him anymore." "He's mine. No, he's mine." The dinner table erupted into chaos. My head started throbbing. I could only look to Chloe, who was still eating, hoping for her help. Chloe continued to eat her meal unhurriedly. Slowly, she spoke. "If you both want to be with Ethan, there's no problem. But you'll have to be secondary. I'll be the primary. Also, if you're going to be with him, you must follow the rules. Laundry, cooking, all those chores, you're responsible for them. Know your place, understand?" Her beautiful, cold face still didn't show a trace of emotion. She didn't even lift an eyelid as she spoke. I just stared dumbfounded. Was this right? I expected Maya and Ashley to be furious, but they didn't seem to care at all. Instead, they spoke up. "Maya, brother, I can wash your feet. I'm really good at chores. Ashley, I can cook. And from now on, I'll hand wash all your clothes." This couldn't be real, right? Dazed, I finished dinner and headed to my little room on the first floor. But already, 3 people were standing by the door. "Ashley, Ethan, I'm staying with you tonight." "Maya, how shameless. Brother, you have a soft and sweet little sister like me. You'll definitely choose me, right?" "Chloe, brother, you can't let strangers into your room without your sister's permission. You know, we are not strangers." The scene descended into chaos again. My head pounded fiercely, and my consciousness started to blur. I opened my eyes and found myself at the dining table. What was happening? Hadn't I woken up yet? I looked around blankly. My reflection stared back from the glossy tabletop, looking a few years younger. What was going on? "Young master, we need to leave. You'll be late for school." It was the voice of the chauffeur, our butler. "Brother, don't go," a soft, sweet voice called out. I saw a tiny Maya rushing towards me. Had I gone back to the original owner's middle school days? The butler reminded me again. I had to get up, but little Maya clung to my leg, crying relentlessly, refusing to let go. With no other choice, I carried Maya to her room. My gaze fell upon the comic books on her desk. "Maya, big brother has to go to school now. Can you read your comic books in my room? And I'll come back as soon as school is out." Little Maya was clearly reluctant, but seeing the comic books I'd brought, she hesitated. After an intense internal struggle, she chose the comics. "Then big brother has to come back really fast, okay?" "I know. I'll rush back as soon as school's over." "You have to come back really, really fast." "I know. I'll be back to be with Maya immediately." Only after my repeated promises did Maya let me go. She looked at the comic book, mimicking the dialogue. "Loser brother," she said, a smile on her lips. Sitting in the car, I felt a shiver run down my spine, as if sensing something. Something fell off. At school, I saw Ashley. We were in the same class in middle school. I greeted her, but she seemed surprised I was talking to her and said, a little flustered, "Good morning." I found it strange. The Ashley in front of me was different from the one of my memories. The one I remembered, though always at odds with me, was lively and outgoing. This Ashley seemed more introverted. At lunchtime, she sat alone at her desk, not moving. "Ashley, aren't you going to eat?" I asked. She flinched like a startled bird and gasped. Then she waved her hand. "I'm not eating lunch today." That didn't sound right. Ashley's family was well off, even if not as rich as mine. She shouldn't be skipping lunch. Was she on a diet? She didn't look overweight at all. I didn't dwell on it and walked out of the classroom. But I hadn't gone far when I saw three girls, dressed like stereotypical mean girls, approach her. They escorted Ashley out of the classroom. This was clearly not normal. I secretly followed them. They led Ashley to the dumpsters behind the school. I don't have any money right now. I already gave you everything yesterday. Ashley sounded a little wronged. She didn't understand why the people she considered friends were treating her this way. If you don't have money, ask your family. Aren't they rich? Don't tell me they can't even spare $100. I've already asked my family for money twice this week. If I ask for more, they'll definitely ask what's going on. It wasn't that Ashley didn't want to ask her family for money. She knew that asking so frequently would raise red flags. If her family found out these girls were taking her money, they wouldn't let it go. She didn't want to cause trouble for the friends she'd finally made at school. The three bullies ignored her pleas. One of them simply shoved her. Ashley, already slender, was no match for them. She stumbled and fell right into the trash. Bring $200 tomorrow, or else. Ashley stared blankly at the three girls, her heart heavy. At school, no one seemed to want to talk to her. Her wealthy background made ordinary students keep their distance. These girls were willing to talk to her, and she was happy, considering them friends, always fulfilling their demands. So why were they still treating her this way? From my hiding spot, I sighed. What an incredibly foolish girl. The three bullies were about to mess with Ashley again. I charged forward with a flying kick, sending the ringleader directly into a trash can. The other two also got a quick punch each and were sprawled on the ground. Ashley seemed stunned by the sudden turn of events, standing there blankly. I hauled the ringleader out of the trash and dragged her over to Ashley. Give her 2 slaps. Ashley gasped, looking at me, then at the bully. For a moment, she was at a loss. Seeing her dazed expression, I sighed, grabbed her hand, and slapped the bully's face twice with it. Then I said coldly, "If I ever see you bullying her again, I'll beat you every single time." I took Ashley back to my place. "Go take a shower. You're all dirty. You can wear my sister's clothes for now." Then I checked her hands, making sure she hadn't scraped herself when she fell. Ashley remained silent, letting me maneuver her like a porcelain doll. "If anyone ever bullies you again, remember to tell your family. Don't be so foolish you get taken advantage of without even realizing it." Seeing her still blank and silent, I sighed. "Remember, only I get to tease you, okay? No one else. Now go shower and change." Ashley nodded and went into the bathroom. Maya saw me return and immediately ran over. "Loser brother, your favorite sister is here." I was only gone for a morning. What happened? Ashley emerged from the bathroom, her cheeks flushed. I couldn't resist, lightly pinching one. Maya immediately protested. "Hey, loser, I don't allow you to touch other women." I chuckled, a bit exasperated. Looking at a somewhat bewildered Ashley, I patiently explained, "My sister's always been a bit bossy. Don't mind a kid's antics." Maya put her hands on her hips. "Oomph, I'm not bossy. I don't care, brother is mine, and mine alone." It took a while to finally get Maya to calm down. My sister's clothes were a bit too big for Ashley. I had the driver take her home. Before she left, Ashley summoned her courage. Are we friends?" "Of course. Haven't we always been?" Ashley beamed and nodded vigorously. Maya was still clinging to me. "Brother, are we siblings?" "Yeah, we are." "Then can Maya marry you when she grows up?" "No, that's not how it works." I shook my head. Maya looked anxious. "Why not? Don't all the comic books you read with Maya show the little sister ending up with her big brother?" Shoot, I hadn't paid attention to the content of those comics. What did I let her read? I quickly tried to curb her current thoughts. Comic books are all fiction. They're not real. You're still little. Don't believe everything you see. Then why can't Maya marry you? Because we're siblings, and siblings can't get married, I patiently explained. Maya's eyes welled up. So if we weren't siblings, we could get married? I was speechless, unable to think of an explanation. I could only say patiently, "You're still young. You'll understand when you're older." "No way. I want brother." There was no point arguing with a child. I just went along with it. All right, brother's here." Maya immediately stopped crying and hugged my neck, smiling. "Brother's the best." Maya then turned her head and said quietly, "Maya's a good girl now." I was a little confused. Maya continued, The book says good children get their wishes granted by Santa Claus. She was still a child, after all. I didn't think much of it, but Maya stayed awake late into the night. Maya, why aren't you asleep yet? I'm waiting for my Santa Claus. He'll grant my wish. I chuckled. It's not Christmas yet. Where would Santa Claus come from? Maya seemed not to have considered this. She immediately panicked, her eyes filling with tears. Then what do I do? So, you go to sleep first, and maybe Santa Claus will come by Christmas. I try to comfort her, but she seemed deeply saddened, her mood turning somber. I slipped out of the room. I remember the school auditorium had Christmas costumes. It took some time, but I managed to get one. Dressed as Santa, I tapped on Maya's window. Maya was still awake and startled by the tapping. Who's there? It's me, Santa Claus. Maya's face lit up with excitement, and she opened the window for me. I managed to climb in. Maya immediately hugged me from behind. I lost my balance and fell to the floor, with Maya tumbling on top of me. I didn't pay attention to our strange position and spoke. Tell me, little Maya, what do you wish for? Santa Claus will help you make it come true. I wish I could always be with my big brother. I paused, surprised by her wish. Still, I said, all right, little Maya, your wish is granted. Your big brother will always be with you. Little Maya giggled, then pulled off the fake beard and hat from my face. She wrapped her arms tightly around my neck. Thank you, brother. Maya's wish has come true. Are you happy? Happy. Maya is so happy. I've never been this happy before. Then she leaned close to my ear. You're not allowed to be nice to anyone else. You can only spoil me. My mouth twitched, but I didn't bother arguing with her. Chloe came home later, smelling of alcohol. I found her sitting alone in the living room in the middle of the night. Sis, I called out. Chloe looked up at me, but didn't speak. Dad had handed over part of the family business for her to manage, so I knew she'd been busy lately. I didn't disturb her, just poured her a glass of water. Have some water? Her phone rang, and Chloe answered. I understand, Dad. It was our father, seemingly asking about work. After a while, Chloe grew increasingly agitated. Finally, she said coldly into the phone, It's my birthday today, you know? Is that business really so important? On my birthday, I still have to go to a networking dinner. I thought you might at least wish me happy birthday. As if exhausted, she hung up the phone. She looked around the empty room, then sighed, sinking back into the sofa. Seeing the glass of water next to her, she smiled faintly. As I was about to go upstairs, I saw myself holding a cake. I'd always remembered Chloe and Maya's birthdays. I had asked our housekeeper to make dinner tonight, planning to celebrate Chloe's birthday, but she'd only just gotten home. Happy birthday, sis. Chloe stared at me blankly, as if she hadn't expected it. There's some pasta in the kitchen. Do you want me to warm it up for you? Chloe's eyes were red, and she rubbed them. The alcohol's getting to me, she explained. Pasta? No, I don't think so, she murmured. Some memories that weren't mine flickered in my mind. We used to always celebrate her birthday together, but ever since she took over some company operations last year, she'd become incredibly busy. She hadn't celebrated her birthday last year. That's why the urge to celebrate her birthday this morning had been so strong. Wait here, I'll warm it up. It'll be quick. I didn't pay attention to what she said, heading straight to the kitchen. When I came back, she was staring blankly at the cake. I took it out and lit the candles. No shooting stars tonight, but it's still a day for wishes. No grand speeches, just a little cake. Happy birthday, big sister. I was talking, but when I turned, I saw Chloe was in tears. What's wrong? I was startled. She stepped forward and hugged me tightly, whispering in my ear, Thank you, really, thank you. But if only you were my brother, how wonderful that would be. Sis, you're hugging me too tight. I can't breathe. I tried to push her away, but I couldn't. Her arms only tightened around me. Chloe, only you care about me. What are you talking about? Everyone in the family cares about you. They just show it in different ways. I cut Chloe a slice of cake, and she took a bite. Is it good? I asked. Very sweet. The surroundings were still noisy. I seemed to hear Ashley and Maya arguing with each other. My vision returned, and I was standing in front of my first-floor bedroom again. This time, however, many more memories flooded my mind. I remembered. I had transmigrated into this body when I was very young. It had been like that until just recently, when my parents announced I wasn't their biological son. I felt a bit down and hadn't been paying attention when I walked out, getting hit by a car which caused my amnesia Now it seemed I wasn't living out a typical romance novel trope about a fake son after all. The thought made me chuckle on my previous assumptions, but then I saw the two arguing girls in front of me, and my head started to ache again. Honey, tell me, aren't you going to sleep with me tonight? Ashley grabbed my arm, holding on tightly. I could feel the soft warmth against my skin. Maya wouldn't be outdone. You hussy. If Ethan's sleeping with anyone, it's with me. When is it ever your turn? She hugged my other arm. I tried to pull my arms free, but I failed several times. Ethan, tell us, who are you sleeping with tonight? I coughed and looked helplessly at Chloe, who was standing nearby. Her face had lost its usual icy expression, a faint smile playing on her lips. Then she spoke calmly. It's so cold out. It'll be warmer if you all squeeze together. I was dumbfounded. Was this right? Only after my repeated pleas did they reluctantly leave, and I returned to my room alone. In the middle of the night, I felt my consciousness blurring again. I heard several voices near my ear. Maya, sister, will he wake up? Chloe, just be quieter, all right? Ashley, hurry up, both of you. I felt a heavy weight on my chest, as if something was pressing down on me. Darn it, was I having sleep paralysis again? I woke up the next morning to find Chloe on one side and Ashley on the other. Maya was clinging to my chest like a koala. No wonder I felt like something was crushing me yesterday. My mouth twitched. Had all three of them snuck in during the night? I struggled to get up and went to the living room. I turned around to find all three of them standing behind me. Ashley, this time you can't escape, can you? Chloe, I have to be your favorite, okay? You can't show favoritism to anyone else. Maya, Stinky Ethan, I love you the most. You'll never get away from me in this lifetime. Oh, for crying out loud. But, strangely, it didn't feel so bad. Who cared? I'd worry about the future later.